Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Thursday. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we all know that the Los Angeles Lakers were in action on yesterday, taking on none other than the Sacramento Kings. And the Lakers, as we all know by now, came up short, and we're going to talk about all the details, the ramifications of this particular matchup, what it means to the Lakers, what it means for the Kings, and, of course, what chances do the Lakers have as far as the rest of the season? And of course, we're going to talk about how that game played out. But first, let's just jump right into it. So we know that the Lakers they played yesterday on Wednesday, having, I believe, played on Sunday. So had 2 full days off, 1 day of travel on a short trip, probably about an hour or so flight from Southern California to Northern to get up to Sacramento. So you figured, of course, the Sacramento Kings were given a 1.5 by most sport books on yesterday, considering that the Lakers were a 1.5 favorite because they had been off for 2 days. And of course, they had to travel, not far, but the Kings haven't played a game before playing the Milwaukee Bucks, although they demolished the Milwaukee Bucks the game before. That might have been some kind of telltale sign of what they were about to do to the Lakers. But really, the way the Kings did the Bucks, the Lakers should be happy that that's all they got. But it's a lot of different reasons I'm going to touch on in just a moment. But one glaring thing, and I can break it down quarter by quarter. So what I did as I watched the game, of course, I took notes sort of as I went along this time, like I usually do. But this time I actually jotted some of the more important things down because I think each NBA game tells a story. That's why I love the NBA so much, because things can change just in one period, from one period to another during the course of an NBA game. And in the first quarter, of course, Reeves comes out and he is 4 out of 4 with 11 points in that first quarter. LeBron came out and blew like 3 bunnies, blew 3 layups right at the rim. He did have 3 assists, though, to kind of make up for that. So the Lakers were kind of hanging with Sacramento. What I did notice in the first quarter, everybody was hyping up the matchup between Anthony Davis and Sabonis. And, of course, what I wrote down in the first quarter was Sabonis was posting up AD, outplaying him, being more physical, finding his way to the basket, out-rebounding him, and in some cases just straight up shooting in his face, where AD sagging off of him instead of getting too close to him, making him put the ball on the floor. And I think at this point, of course, we know it's not physical, because you would say that if you look at both of them, AD is far more the physical specimen, but I would say it's maybe basketball IQ-wise, because we know, Sabonis Pops, man, I'm telling you, he was a straight up menace for the Portland Trailblazers years ago. And I'm telling you what, he gave the Los Angeles Lakers fits, and Shaquille O'Neal fits back in the day. And Shaq can say whatever he wanted to, but when he went head up against Sabonis, he himself had some issues. Now, Arvydas Sabonis is a little more, well, I ain't gonna say a little more, he was a lot bigger than DeMontis, if I'm saying his name correctly. But these Sabonis guys can ball. They kind of talked about that in the telecast on yesterday. Just the thing about competing, because where they from, they got to compete just to eat, you feel me? So anyway, that was my notes for the first quarter. At the end of that first quarter, Sabonis had 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists on his way to a triple-double, I might add. We'll talk about that in a second, too. And AD in that first quarter, not bad. 5 points, 5 rebounds, only 1 assist. So you might say, well, he hung right there with Sabonis. But, of course, AD played that entire first quarter, whereas Sabonis didn't. Now, moving on to the second quarter, Darvin Ham elects to start the second quarter out with a lineup of Christie, D'Lo, LeBron, Taurean Prince, and Hayes. And, of course, LeBron starts to get them back in the game, has a 3-point play, and then a 3-pointer in back-to-back plays to kind of get the game close. And we know as the quarter played out, the Lakers kind of played a back-and-forth game with them. It was a competitive game for the most part in the first half. And if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers were down by 4 going into the third quarter. However, of course, the Lakers, and this is the part that upsets me more than anything when you talk about the game from a Lakers standpoint, is Lakers came out flat. LeBron James came out, 3 turnovers. AD couldn't score if his life depended on it. Austin Reeves was laying bricks. He might as well have been a brick layer. So the Lakers, D'Lo at this point was 0 of 6 in the game with just 1 point. And this is halfway through the third. And you're talking about with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third quarter. You talking about LeBron James only having 6 points and Anthony Davis only having 9. And then you look at the Lakers, 0 field goals through 5 minutes left in the third quarter. So you telling me going into 5 minutes left in the third quarter, the Lakers didn't have a single basket. That is just crazy to me. And Darvin Ham elected to do nothing about it. He didn't make any changes. And part that really upset me the most is he allowed LeBron James and Anthony Davis to play that entire third quarter. You know that's gassing them out. So I was wondering, since he didn't stagger their minutes like he would typically and allow AD to play a full quarter, LeBron to come out in the latter portions of that quarter, let AD sit the next quarter and let LeBron play with the bench and then put them both together at the end of the final quarter like you would typically do. You play them for desperation, playing both of them the entire quarter. I'm wondering what your fourth quarter plan is, especially when you're not even making any moves at this point. And come to find out, I don't know if you all noticed, but LeBron James said in the post-game presser that he was dealing with a bad cold. You can say whatever you want to, but I saw on one play in particular when LeBron had a turnover, and I can't remember who it was, if it was Harrison Barnes or whoever, they shot the gap on a pass, and they headed towards the other end of the basket for a dunk. LeBron James is known for his chase down block and would chase down and block that any day, but a lot of people reacting after the game saying LeBron James is old and he just doesn't have what it takes anymore to be able to make a play like that. However, I would beg to differ. He's been doing it all season, even with dealing with the injury to his ankle. But if you take a good look at it, you can see LeBron James really, like he said, had a bad cold. Not trying to make excuses for him, but I'm telling y'all right now, I work at a desk most of the time, and if I got a cold, I don't even feel like working, especially at this age. So, I'm just saying, to be able to deal with having a bad cold, whether it was because, these are not LeBron James type numbers. And then, of course, in my fourth quarter, I put that Harrison Barnes just went crazy. He had 4 threes in that quarter. But, LeBron James, 6 out of 16, 37%, 2 out of 8 from 3. Definitely not LeBron James type numbers. Only 18 points. For a moment, you thought that his consecutive game, I think of whatever, 1,200 something, whatever odd games of having double-digit figures was on the line. But, of course, he pulled through and was successful in getting that double-digit mark. But who cares, because the Lakers did not come up with the victory. Rui Hachimura put together a good game. Anthony Davis did not. So Anthony Davis only 7 out of 18. LeBron James only 6 out of 16. When you have your 2 star players coming together, not really making any noise on the offensive end, it's going to be tough for you to win the game. And it's crazy considering how it seemed like De'Aaron Fox had a pretty quiet game. He was 9 for 20 himself. Not very much De'Aaron Fox type game. 1 out of 5. And if you look at it, only 21 points for Fox, when last game I think he scored his career high of 44 points. And you all know how I feel about De'Aaron Fox. I think he's one of the better players in this entire association. But at the end of the day, Kean Ellis, he came in 3 out of 5 from 3. Keegan Murray, 5 out of 10 from 3. They do a lot of penetrating and a lot of kicking out. The Lakers seemed to not have an answer for it. You could tell they were frustrated after the game. Swept by the Kings for the first time since 2016 in a regular season matchup. So, the Lakers, they have to go back to the drawing board. But, of course, the Lakers, it's all about matchups for them. It all depends on who they can run into in the playoffs. If they can run into OKC, run into Minnesota, run into these teams who they match up better with, then they have a better chance. But some of these teams with better guard play, such as, let's say, a Golden State, let's say a Sacramento Kings, they're going to have problems with unless they can get a point of attack defender back, such as a Jared Vanderbilt, and a little bit of help with Cam Reddish as well would have helped as well. But at the end of the day, nobody's making excuses for the Los Angeles Lakers. Nobody really cares. A lot of people say, well, they just are where they say they are. But if you look at what their records was for the first part and the latter part of the season, it's been a lot above 500, and they played really well. They just had that stretch after the play-in tournament. I don't know what it was. They relaxed, went 3 for 10, and that whole 3 for 10 stretch out of those 13 games really messed them up. 3 and 10, I'm sorry. Won 3, lost 10 during that stretch, and it didn't bode well for them. So now they're putting themselves in a situation where you don't want to be a 9th or 10th seed because you have to play 2 games to be safe. And you don't want to have to play Golden State and then turn around and have to play Sacramento. That is not going to be the easiest thing. I would think that Sacramento was solidified a 7th seed, and they maybe would be playing Dallas for the 8th seed, but who knows? I think the Lakers can still move into their 7th, 6th, or 7th 7th spot is still not unheard of. They're only 3 games out from there. So let's just see what they can do. Got a lot more basketball to talk about, of course. They are set to take on Golden State on Saturday. From what I hear, and they did say in the telecast on last night that Stephen Curry would be back. We shall see. I don't know if they want to rush him back for injury or not, considering how they probably are solidified in that 10th spot anyway. I really don't see Utah making a push for that. But anyway, if you haven't done so already, hit that like, hit that share, hit that bell, hit that subscribe. And as always, man, this has been your boy B New. I'm saying right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out.